Good morning, everybody, and it's great to be here. This is obviously another tool for the Queensland Police Service, but very important during Child Protection Week. And what you'll see when you see those three words there, prevent, protect, prosecute, it just goes to show that the protection of all our children is the responsibility of everyone. And it's only through cooperation and obviously information from all members of the community that we can assist police and families in ensuring that perpetrators are brought to justice. Now, police will do the enforcement, and now today we'll be launching a number of educational and awareness programs to assist parents and empower young children and teenagers in relation to prevention. But I really am calling on all members of the community to work with police. Police are only as good as the information they receive, and is very important, particularly not just this week for Child Protection Week, but every other day, 365 days of the year, that we do the utmost to protect Queensland children. Now, Task Force Argos is a magnificent command that is achieving remarkable results in relation to obviously enforcement. With over 900,000 images collected, many hundreds of thousands of videotaping equipment that has been obviously confiscated, and Task Force Argos has already seen the proof of over 158 young children that have been rescued from a life of obviously deprivation and being used and abused by these predators. Now today, the two particular areas are in relation to your selfie, keep it to yourself. Now these particular posters will be going out, and we're encouraging young people and adults to ensure that if you have an image of yourself, so your selfie, keep it to yourself. Because only 10 years ago, young children, we were warning them about talking to strangers on the street. And now these strangers are in our homes, they're in our own bedrooms, and they have connection to our young children. And I'm really imploring parents and adults, as well as those teenagers, that if you have a selfie, that you keep it to yourself to ensure, because these images, these pedophiles and other people out there, not just in Queensland, but right across the world, will use it and abuse it. And then many years later, those particular images could come back to haunt that particular child as he or she goes into adulthood. So, but again, police are only as good as the information they receive. And what today is also about is a very successful program in relation to who's chatting to your kids is also going to be enhanced to give give parents other ways to be able to work together. Simple little things that parents need to know about being able to filter the information and that their children have access to being able to, even where you position your computers and IT within the home, whether they be in a more family or more visible area, besides young children retreating to their bedrooms and not knowing that what's happening with these certain perpetrators, because that's what they rely on. They rely on being able to use their power over young children, and their time is gone, because at the end of the day, operations within the Queensland Police Service, Task Force Argos, as well as other operations within the CMC, means that when you break an offence, break the law, particularly in relation to young children, all that information will be recorded, and it is only a matter of time before the police come knocking at your door. And I make no apologies for sending that message out to these pedophiles and people who think they can perpetrate the youth of Queensland, that your time is up, and the resources, the technology, the advancements in relation to policing are at the hands of the Queensland Police, and they will come knocking down your door, no matter, even if you try to move overseas or interstate, because we're also working in with ministers from all the states and territories to enforce that we have a coordinated approach in relation to pedophilia and the disgraceful acts that they perpetrate on young people and the lives that they take away. So I'll just pass to the Commissioner for some comments.
No, thank you, Minister, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for covering what we think is one of the most important weeks of the year, Child Protection Week. It's all about enhancing people's knowledge of those threats that are out there, and in particular this year with the theme of Child Protection Week being protecting children is everyone's business. It can't be more important in the announcements that we've made this week of updating our Who's Chatting to Your Kids website and all of the material around that has been updated this year. It's an award-winning program. Our Task Force Argos have been involved in over a number of years. But importantly this year, we have the issue of selfies, about what these things can do and who can access those photos over a long period of time. Selfies, keeping it to yourself, is an important message for our young people for both now and into the future. And I congratulate Task Force Argos and the team at State Crime Command for the work they've done in this regard.
Yep. Any questions particularly?
How can I target the campaign and give the message to young kids?
Well, obviously it'll go out through the different educational units within the Queensland Police Service, but also coordinate with the other government departments, whether it might be, obviously, it might even be within health areas, public spaces where other people can see it, as well as obviously within the schools, because that's the message, to have a coordinated response. Gone are the days where one department takes responsibility of a particular issue, and where we talk about education, it's about everyone working together. In the QPS itself, you'll have the community-based policing areas, where, from adopt to cops to school-based police officers, right through to the obviously community-based officers who will get out as well. And we've got My Police blogs now. Now, My Police blogs are in 14 areas across the state. Absolutely. And they are achieving over 15 million hits. It is very successful, and this message will be emanated through the My Police blogs, as well as the Facebook as well. We've got one of the largest Facebook sites of any police service in Australia, and these are things that are engaging with the community, young people.
We've also put a lot of material on our website, and the Minister has been given access to that, so he can look at it as well. But and we think that most of the young people now, particularly with their interest in social media and their access to the internet, they can go straight to our website to get that a range of information about this plan. But
a lot of young people do not realise the sheer evil behind these perpetrators and pedophiles, and the extent that they'll go to obtain certain images and self-images. And we have a number of young people doing a lot of experimentation on the internet, as well as through technology. And obviously later on in adulthood, it can really come back to not just affect that child, whether it be the perpetrators getting in contact them, but also whether it be for certain positions, jobs, or other community groups elsewhere. Oh, look, I think generally right across the whole of the community, I think what we've seen is how we embrace technology per se is certainly a reflection right across the community. And I think when we talk, whether it be Queensland Police, politicians, or other members of the communities, we have a diverse group. And it's a simple message to say, at the end of the day, is what you have on the computer, it will come back, and it will certainly will bite you. And we've seen examples of that right across the board.
How hard has it been for the Queensland Police Service to keep up with this technology? Even the last 2 or 3 years, it's just evolved so much.
You're absolutely right, and I think we're in a very good space. Over the last few years, we've done a huge amount of work in putting in the foundations for the fact that technology is changing on a daily basis, and certainly we're very grateful to the government for the way that they've been supporting us. Yesterday, there was the announcement of the GWN, a $500 million investment over the next 15 years to give us secure digital comms, something that we've wanted for a long, long time. And I believe that there'll be more announcements over coming weeks and months about technological advancements for us. But it is a challenge. That is an absolute critical factor. And I think that the future will be that we're very carefully laying foundation stones in technology so that we've got all of the right networks, certainly the way our systems operate behind the scene. We have all of that in train so that we can take advantage of the types of technology that we're about to bring to the Queensland Police Service, for instance, smartphone and tablet technology, to give our Police true mobility. Probably a first in the country, and we're able to do that because we have integrated systems because of the good planning that we've done over a long period of time.
Are apps like Snapchat a growing concern?
There are a range of apps, as you call them, that are out there that encourage young people in particular, often to send quite explicit messages, including photos of themselves. What concerns us the most is the fact that those photos are going to be there forever. I mean, they're in the Twitter sphere, they're out there in the cyberspace, and one of the big issues for us is the ability of people with criminal intent to go and surf the internet looking for kids who put up these types of photos and target them. And so what we're trying to do is to make sure that young people and their parents understand the dangers that they face.
What if it's too late? What if it's already happened and parents listening to this and they've discovered their teen has done something like this? What advice would you give to them?
Well, at the end of the day, it's never too late. And I think at least those matters have been exposed, and I really do encourage them to obviously contact police straight away. There are a number of community groups that be able to help them through the realisation of what has happened to them, both physically and emotionally, and each will determine the circumstances of what resources you put into that person. If it might be a simple message, it might be having the police and other family members talk to that young person. But obviously, depending on the seriousness of it, then you would involve other people, whether it be in relation to having people having certain consultations. Yeah.
Have you been getting more complaints about Snapchat? Because they're supposed to destruct after a few moments, these images, but then it came out that you can actually retrieve those images. Like, do you get any complaints about it?
I can't tell you right now about the number of complaints. I know that we do get complaints about it, and we have members of Task Force Argos here right now in the room, and we can talk to them afterwards about the actual statistics. But I think the key message is trying to help young people understand the dangers that sit behind these systems and some of these apps that they use, and the fact that the images are going to be there for a long period of time. And that's one of the challenges. It's not to believe necessarily the advertising that's provided by those areas. It's to give factual information.
And that's what we're trying to do, is get that prevention rather than the cure in the first place, because one of the things that have been identified through Task Force Argos is the amount of selfies that are starting to get being brought up in pedophile investigation. So there has been a large increase of selfies that these perpetrators are keeping and storing and using, for very, very much illegal means. So it's a way that parents and young children can help themselves by ensuring, obviously, that selfie is kept to themselves.
Commissioner, obviously there's social situations now, especially with iPhones and camera phones and that sort of thing. People can't always be in control of, and there's other people that are taking these photos of them. Are there any what are the type of charges? What avenues can police go down to prosecute the group rather than the individual?
Every circumstance is going to have to be looked at in its on its merits, so to speak. One of the real sad things is that young people will go to a party, they'll drink, or they'll use substances. They potentially won't be thinking straight, maybe for an emotional reason. That allows other people to take photos of them, sometimes in quite compromising situations. If the person is aware of it, they can make complaints to us, and we'll certainly follow it up if there has been a level of illegality involved in that. Hopefully, in most situations, it'll simply be a request to the person who's actually taken the photo or the video to actually have them delete it. But we've seen some very sad cases where that hasn't occurred, and young people have been exploited. So we need to know about it. We need to have people take this issue very seriously, and that's why protecting children, is everybody's business, is the key theme this week.
And for those people that do take those photos, that they shouldn't be under any illusion that if what they're doing is illegal, they will be prosecuted.
There is offences in relation to transmitting, type of images across, whether it be, other social medias or IT, and that applies even to young people as well. And it certainly is a call depending on the type of youth, the age of the person, as well as the type and seriousness of the imagery. But at the end of the day, this is about prevention, and it's about ensuring that people are certainly wised up to perpetrators who will use what might be a quite innocent caption or event at the time that might be a very personal issue, how that issue then can come back for that young person at another time and affect their lives.
There are a growing number of teens who are found, like someone sends them a rude selfie, like a young boy, a young teen keeps it, and is there an increase in prosecution against those types of people, or is there more leniency because it is part of their courting in the 21st century?
I think that one of the challenges is that is the consensual selfie, meaning someone takes their own photo, which is a selfie, but does it in a compromising way. So it's a naked depiction of them, and sends that to someone who at the present time is considered to be an intimate friend. We all know that often those friendships dissolve, and they've still got that information on that phone. Now, it becomes a little bit challenging for the law when that was sent with consent and, quite openly sent to that friend then. It depends what that person does with it. But in the first instance, people should be making sure that, I think, that they don't take those type of photos in the first place. And that's the education process. It's what we were saying. It's about getting to the root cause of this, stopping it before it happens. Once it happens, then you have to go through a chain where you can ask the person to delete it, you can take action to make them delete it. And ultimately, if they've published that, if they've sent it, then there are criminal offences that do accrue to those facts.
Minister, you have teenage kids yourself. Have you had to deal with this at home?
Oh, look, obviously the Who's Chatting With Your Children program obviously has gone out to majority of schools and community groups, and for me, obviously, as a family, we sit down and talk about these particular issues and make sure that they're completely au fait with what other people outside of the family can really have influences on you inside the family. I said, like there at the very beginning, is 10 years ago we were worried about who was talking to our children out on the street and strangers. Now these strangers are actually in our homes and in our bedrooms, and we really have to have strategies in place. I know from the information that you've got here in relation to Who's Chatting with your kids, there is some great information to help both the child and the teenager, but particularly parents. And this being Child Protection Week, it's a great opportunity to reinvigorate that, because we know with technology, as it keeps changing, is parents sometimes in busy lives aren't able to keep up with the different changes and the different apps that come out, and there is time to be able to have proper plans in place even for your own family. Yeah.
What about parents from a totally different generation who might not be across the technology? What can you tell the parents and to look out for what the children might be up to?
It's about what you guys are doing every day in the media. It's about making sure that people understand the threat that's out there. I mean, this week, it's everybody's business, it's the media's business, and that's why we're so grateful you're here today, because it's about getting that knowledge out there to everyone. Now, we can do it on our websites, we can do it through the government websites, but the reality is the work that you do in the media is absolutely critical to getting the message out to the entire community, to letting them know what those issues are, and perhaps some case studies and what have you that our people would be happy to provide to you will help people understand how big the threat is. It's there right now.